Are you tired of that old tuna melt? Possibly unhealthy. You know what? I know I am. And today I'm going to talk about a tuna melt. On average, a Pacific Atlantic bluefin tuna weighs an average of 550 pounds. Just imagine how much tuna melts you can make out of just one big tuna fish. That is according to the National Geographic underneath special animals in the oceans. Hi, I'm Eric Rosenberg, and today I'm going to talk to you guys today about how to make a healthy tuna melt. Most tuna melts are deceptively unhealthy, and today this is going to prove otherwise. First, we're going to talk about the ingredients of this tuna melt, and then we're going to talk about the nutrition facts, and then how to make this healthy tuna melt. But before we can talk about the nutrition facts and how to make this tuna melt, we're first going to talk about the ingredients needed. The ingredients needed in this tuna melt are quite obvious, you could say. First, you need your tuna. Today I'm using Bumblebee tuna in water. Just remember, when preparing this, you need to drain the water out of this tuna. You'll also be needing 2 tablespoons of oatmeal, some nonstick cooking oil, an egg white. I'm taking it today from a whole egg. Your different seasoning that you need, and also a piece of whole wheat toast. Now that you guys know what we're going to be talking, or the ingredients that are needed to make this healthy tuna melt, we are now going to talk about the nutrition facts that go along with this ever so delightfully tuna melt. With using just one egg white and not using a whole egg, you're taking away nearly 40 grams of cholesterol in that yolk. Granted, there is also gained protein inside of that yolk, but this way you'll be reducing your cholesterol levels in your body, which we all know is very healthy. The obvious main ingredient in this tuna melt is the tuna, which I showed you before, which contains only 140 grams of calories and up to 25 grams of protein, which is hard to find in just your everyday meal. The only bad parts about this tuna melt is a medium amount of carbohydrates in them. The carbohydrates that you gain are from your whole wheat bread and also from the oatmeal. Granted, it's coming from natural oatmeal and natural grains, so it would be considered good carbohydrates. Ways to make this meal unhealthy would be using a piece of white toast, which is high in fats and also more carbohydrates, and also using more cheese. On my tuna melt, I like to not use any cheese, but if you want to make it healthy, you can use fresh mozzarella cheese, which will only give you about 2 to 4 grams of saturated fat. Now that you guys know the nutrition facts and these ingredients to make this tuna melt, let's go into talking about how you actually make this tuna melt, which I'm sure everybody is worried about. The first thing you need for this tuna melt is the tuna. I've already taken the tuna and placed it into a mixing bowl and shredded up the tuna, smooth out the tuna just so it's not as clumpy as it comes in the container. You also need your 2 tablespoons of oats, which I have in this bowl, and I'm going to mix into with the tuna. Now also, like I mentioned before, you need egg white, which I'm taking from a whole egg. You can also take the egg white from just a plain egg white container and pour out 1/4 cup, which will fill that up. I'm going to remove the yolk from this egg white, which might be a little time consuming, and hopefully I can get it right this first time. Alright, I was able to remove that yolk from the egg white, from the yolk. In doing so, all I did was shifted the shells back and forth, which drained it out of there. So now I'm going to mix that into the rest of my ingredients. After that's mixed in there, I'm going to put in a couple spices that I enjoy in my tuna melt, which I enjoy some minced onion and also some garlic powder. I'm really only just going to put a little pinch in there. Now I forgot to mention, while stirring this stuff up, you're going to also want to preheat your pan just so you're all ready to go. So I'm going to turn my pan up to about a medium heat. Now I'm going to mix all these ingredients together, just so it's consistent and everything is mixed well together. So bear with me here for a couple seconds while I do that. Alright, now that the oats, the egg whites, the spices, and tuna is all mixed together, I'm going to form it into a patty and place it onto the griddle. But before I place it on the griddle, I'm going to put that non-stick cooking oil on here, which today I'm using organic canola oil, which will also reduce the fats in this tuna melt. Okay, with the non-stick cooking oil on there, now we're going to move on to placing the ingredients into a patty and placing that onto the griddle. So I'm just going to use my hands with this. Granted, you guys can see me wash my hands, but I have washed my hands at this point. But I'm forming it into a patty right now, and I'm going to place it onto the pan. Okay. Now that it's placed into a patty on the pan, I'm going to take my toast and I'm going to heat that up. I slightly toast my bread. That way it's not too crunchy. So I'm going to do so now. Alright, toasting in the back here, and I have my tuna on here. Just to speed up the process, I'm not going to show you the entire way of how I, prepare my tuna melt. But with it on the pan, you want to brown each side of it. And if you choose to put a piece of cheese on it, I do it with probably the last 30 seconds left, just so it slowly melts that cheese. But what you want to do then is put your piece of toast on the bottom, with your tuna on top and your cheese on top. I will show you here. I made one ahead of time just to save time. This is what it looks like here with a piece of mozzarella cheese on top. It's just the toast as well as the tuna and the cheese. Now that you guys know of the proper way to prepare this tuna melt, let's go into what we all learned today. Today I talked about my special way of how to prepare a healthy tuna melt. I talked about the ingredients needed for this, the health and nutrition facts of this, and also the proper way to prepare your tuna melt, which is what's being done at this time while I talk. I hope with this today that you guys can go ahead and prepare your own tuna melt in a healthy way, and you will all take away from this something great. If you guys want to find this precise recipe, I found it off of muscleandfitness.com. Good day to everybody, and thank you for paying attention.